You're watching the Afia Business Morning. This is the Eastern Business Report, which is designed to bring you up to speed on business activities and policies affecting businesses and the economy of the southeastern region of Nigeria. It comes right after Global Business on the Afia Business Morning. And on today's edition of the Eastern Business Report, we'll be looking at roadblocks in the southeast, concerns and economic implications. My name is Ubong Kings. Welcome to the Eastern Business Report. You're welcome back. It's still this is the Business Report, and today's edition, just like I said before the break, we're looking at roadblocks in the southeast, and of course, trying to ascertain its economic implications. And it may interest you to know that the Christmas and New Year festivities have pretty much brought this issue of multiple checkpoints and alleged extortion by different security agents across roads in the southeast region to the front burner following the frustrating experiences of commuters and motorists. Now, the region is known for its rich cultural heritage, scenic landscapes and warm hospitality. However, for travelers, well, the zone's numerous checkpoints have become a source of frustration, anxiety and unwarranted delays. Okay, we're talking about the likes of the Onitsha to Enugu, the Onitsha-Owerri roads, the boundaries, and not forgetting, of course, military checkpoints. Now, the situation has become a major concern for the public, and while the need for security is undeniable, the current approach is believed to be clearly not working, necessitating an urgent need for a reform. And joining me on this conversation is none other than Comrade Felix Jegalu, we pronounce that properly, public affairs analyst and the former House of Assembly candidate, Uji North. It's good to have you join us. It's been a while. We've seen you this year. In fact, let me say Happy New Year. Let's start there.
Happy New Year, Ubong.
Happy New Year to you too.
How are you doing? No, you look good.
Great. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Yeah, you don't look bad yourself.
Well,
welcome from the leave. Welcome. So quickly, what are your thoughts? Really, I want to understand what your thoughts are with this analogy, because there's a whole lot of analogy, and one of them is the fact that a lot of persons think that the Southeast has been completely militarized, as it were. What are your thoughts, really?
When you say militarized, it begins to look as if it's only the military that those roads. Not only the military. We have all sorts of the armed forces. The road safety is there. The police are there, the custom people are there, those other unnamed tax collectors are there. I call them unnamed because they're unbranded, but they are collecting taxes, and then obviously somebody in government supports them. If not so, they keep on doing it. So they are numerous, I must tell you. When you talk about these checkpoints, there should be a reason for them to be there. And I think the basic reason is for them to, stop people, check their vehicles, know if they are carrying one or two or the other. And most times this doesn't even happen. Like, if that's even the essence, this doesn't happen. The only thing you see is when people stop by, wave their hand, and they give them some stuff, some what they demand, financial money and all that, and then those cars pass. But the problem is that this is somewhat started to become a business. And even the drivers are beginning to become used to it. That every half a kilometer you move, you see a checkpoint. And you see another checkpoint, and you just have to pay. And this is really affecting our people directly, because in production, you check all the costs put in production. Now, production is not complete until it gets to the final consumer. So when you put all the transportation costs, you put everything. So if, let's say, onion is supposed to sell for 15 naira, for example, and then you spend almost 6,000 extra costs, on that particular onion. You see a basket of onion, for example. Now, instead of costing that 15 naira, it begins to cost 300 naira and all that. So, but apart from the financial costs, there's also damages those things cost. Because you see, some of our roads are hilly. For example, you can see what happened in the Ugoyama area.
Yeah.
Yes. And then some of these checkpoints are even badly placed. You see people putting checkpoints, in a slopey area or in a hill. And these vehicles that carry these goods are heavy-duty vehicles. And then when you stop them in a hill just to check, sometimes the vehicle can just roll off. And then the vehicle in front of the person will not be, who don't have any choice. That's what happened. That's happened to me once. I am lucky to survive because I was stopped at the checkpoint. The military guys were there doing their normal collection, financial collection. And then this big vehicle was coming with speed right beside. I was lucky to see that vehicle. Like, I was so lucky to see the vehicle. It was coming straight to the door. The driver was the wire. I just saw it. And I couldn't move because there were so many cars in front of me. I just moved to hit the back of my car. And then it made a mess of my car, And I was lucky to survive. So, and these things continue. And it seems that nobody is doing anything about it. I've seen people talk about it in the House of Representatives. People talk about it in the Senate. And it only continues here in the Southeast. Ubong, I've lived in the northern part of Nigeria. I've stayed some part of my life in Lagos. Are you getting me? And you don't drive 1 kilometer and see checkpoints on our federal road. It's like everywhere in this. How big is even the Southeast? We have more checkpoints in the Southeast than we have in the whole of Kaduna State. And Kaduna is far bigger than 2 states in this in Southeast combined. But you can drive a whole 7 to 8 to 10 kilometers between Kaduna and Abuja without seeing a military checkpoint. So I don't really understand the essence of it. People have argued and said, we have the IPOB. We have more unrest in the north, I must tell you, than we have here. Growing as a child, there was unrest in the north. We had the Boko Haram issue. We had even the Sharia riot 1 and 2. We have the Zango Kataf riot 1992. We had several riots. The only historic thing we had there was the Biafra, and after that, nothing else. And maybe the current IPOB, which is very bloated, but not as even worrisome as what happens in the north. But we don't have these checks. And that's why you see inflation of prices in the Southeast, and people say things are expensive here. Of course, the farming power is from the north. We bring most of our food from the north. And those who plant it do not really put much, but those who transport it go through a lot of hell on the road, paying a lot of tax. Even if you're in a commercial bus and you see the number of, I don't even know what will I call it. I call it in my novel. I call it understand. Are you getting? If you feed it, because the drivers don't understand. Immediately they stop, they bring out money and they move. And if you do not move, if you don't do that, they just delay you, keep you by the side, search your vehicle, search everybody, harass everybody. Even if they find nothing, they keep you there because you refuse to understand. And it's painful, Ubong, I must tell you, apart from the human dehumanization it causes. It has taken a toll on our economy. And most drivers, for example, people are not shipping to our place again. Things are cost. There was a time that onions became so scarce, tomato became so scarce, because when people consider how much it takes them to transport their goods, they better sell at their own end. And we are the receiving end. So that's my take on that.
I think that's a good place to look at a certain conversation that the army actually, if it was a defense for having multiple checkpoints at different places, especially in the Southeast. Let's take a look at that report, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Thank you.
There have been complaints in various quarters about the numerous military checkpoints on southeastern roads, which lead to incessant gridlocks. Responding to questions while reeling out the ongoing military operations from January to December 2024, the Director of Defense Media Operations Major General Edward Buba explained that the number of military checkpoints is dependent on the terrain and the need to safeguard the citizenry.
But when you go to the southeast, because of the nature of the terrain, where the vegetation, you cannot do that. Because if you give that space, you're giving space for the terrorists to operate. So you have to close in and put those checkpoints closer, so that when there's anything, there's quicker reaction. Will citizens be inconvenienced? The sad answer is yes. But it is for the purpose of what? Security.
He said over the last 12 months, troops were confronted by several threats across the country, ranging from armed banditry, kidnapping for ransom, crude oil theft, violent extremism, insurgency, as well as terrorism, among others, several of which had vastly affected innocent citizens and disrupted peace and security in the country. The Director Defense Media Operations revealed that the troops' war effort was designed and crafted to defeat and destroy the terrorists, as well as dismantle their terror infrastructure across the country. Major General Buba gave some of the success stories to include the elimination of over 1,000 notable terrorist leaders, commanders and combatants, neutralized 10,937 terrorists, arrested 12,538 and rescued 7,063 hostages.
The cost of the year as follows. We recovered over 4,332 AK-47 rifles, over 1,244 locally fabricated guns, over 838 den guns, 259 pump action guns, and over 29,000 assorted ammunition among other items recovered.
Oh, well, yeah, you've listened to that and you've seen that and you're smiling. Okay, you tell us why you're smiling right now. Because what I got from that simply, it just tells me that from his statement, a number of things he said, it made it sound like the Southeast is a hot spot. And you, in your initial analysis, did say that the Southeast does not even have as much incidences as North. Now, is this a deliberate, somebody called it a deliberate ploy to make the Southeast look like it is not economically viable, especially for persons who would want to invest in the Southeast?
You see, Ubong, I wouldn't say what I don't know. I would rather say what I know. Okay. And what I know is that this is laughable, I must tell you. This is really laughable. Because let's look at the analysis. We've had a lot of kidnapping along the OP or Nature, that express road leading from that Nikki road leading to Nsuka OP. It even happened recently. And we have a lot of checkpoints on those roads. And it continues to happen. So I don't really understand what what he's saying. You see, sometimes I wonder what they do in the planning. Because you don't plan after incidents, you plan for those things not to happen. That's why you do forecasts. You say, okay, what if this happens? What if this happens? And you put measures in place. We wait for 30 people to die, 100 people to be kidnapped, 1,000 people, to be, before we now start saying, oh, they kidnapped like this, legs, and then, so that's the problem. Like I said earlier, if you go to Kafanchan in Kaduna State, and some places of Kwai and some other places like that, there are constant attacks. People pay levies. Nobody pay levy anywhere in the Southeast. Okay, sometimes it happened close to what do we call this boundary between Anambra and the Imo State or Lo. Are you getting me? And then this other Ihiala. But there are places people pay constant taxes to terrorists so that they can farm in the north. And these people are known. They're not hidden. And somebody is telling me that you don't have 50,000 checkpoints in those places because they are not hot. I don't know the analysis with which this being hot is measured. But from 9 Mile to Nsuka, you have almost close to 1,000 checkpoints. Ubong. You see the police. After a while, you see another police. After a while, you see another police. You see the army. You see another police. You see the army. You see the DSTV. You see the you continue to see people. And that same day, maybe when you get to Onitsha, you hear that they kidnapped like 30. I don't ask. Is it that same road I saw 1,000 checkpoints? If truly the place is hot like he claims, how many times have they even gone to do? Okay, it is said some people who escaped from the last kidnapping that happened, that those people who kidnapped them are lodged somewhere in the bush in Anambra, and they have a house there, they have a place where they bury people, it means they are residents. They are not on transit. They are residents. And they've camped there, let's say, maybe up to 3 years. And you say you are doing security, and people continue to be kidnapped. I just begin to see that these people, it is hard for you to say that. Let me tell you, a one-time president of this country said that even security goes above 24 hours, is either the president does not, is that the government does not know what he's doing, or the government is part of it. And I must tell Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to stop allowing people to use excuses to mar his tenure. Because you can tell me that things continue to repeat and continue to repeat, and the only report card you have is excuses. Excuses upon excuses. At a time, let me tell you, I don't know if until they call people out before they start working, then you ask yourself, what were they doing before? Because see what happened in Anambra. See, people started saying, we will not vote Soludo again, we will not vote Soludo again. Insecurity is favoring him. And then before you know, we'll start seeing pictures that they are catching people. They are doing this. People, somebody who has been in office for almost close to 4 years. And then the election is in some few days. So it means that it is when it is now personal, or when it now affects you. I don't really understand it. Are you getting me? So if there is intention, like I said, and the intention is to make sure that we are decongesting criminals, we are breaking hideouts, I don't think criminals parade on the road. I think criminals have hideouts. Criminals have places. Then secondly, I must tell you, okay, you are saying that you are criminals. Let's accept that. The tolls, the money, is a shame, let me tell you. When I was growing up, when I was quite very younger, I wanted to be a soldier, I must tell you. I didn't have the opportunity. I think I wrote the ND exam several times. I wasn't taking, but I wanted to be a soldier. Because as a Nigerian growing up, you believe that every other arm can be corrupt. You believe that anybody can be bribed, but you always believe that a soldier cannot. But it is quite shaming and alarming today that you see our officers on the road and people are collecting money. It's shameful. It's abysmal. You can call other people names before, but you cannot call the military. So it's abysmal. Today it is now, if you have, put a secret camera on your clothes and travel down that road, you cry for Nigeria. People who are supposed to enforce the law are boldly on the streets collecting money from people. And that is why transportation that is supposed to cost 100 naira will be costing 500. And you see people calling people, say it's fuel, it's this one, but you're adding your own. And the economy is shaking. Every Nigerian is involved in this. But everybody must take its own blame. I know that citizens are doing this, but we did not elect citizens to represent us. We did not elect citizens. We did not give up our rights through social contracts for the citizens to represent us. The social contract is between the citizen and the government. And we are saying, bring measures, bring policies to protect the people, protect our welfare. Not put 1 million checkpoints on the road. Do you know that so many times they've dislodged those checkpoints? Other government officials that say, this thing have been killing people. I think a Federal House of Rep member was saying it the last time, the one representing Udi, Enugu West Senatorial Zone, was saying that they made attempts before and said, this place, this thing is bad. The road is bad. Even the senior president mentioned it when he was talking. He said he knows that road, that there's a gully there. You know there's a gully that when people can fall and die. And I don't know if we don't value life in this country. We prefer goodwill message. I think condolence message. We prefer, hey, we are sorry for the disease. Let's give them, instead of protecting those lives. So Ubong, things will continue to be expensive in this part of the country. Things that are imported because of those chains with which it gets here. So I think the military should do better. If you want to attack crime, like you call it, are you getting me? Go to those places and get those people. Are you getting me? Instead of collecting money from drivers who are doing higher purchase, who cannot meet up and all that. But that's, I know people are angry. Small, I was so, Ubong onions that are small as this is 400 naira, for God's sake. How many people make up to 1,000 naira a day in this country? We're going mad. And if you continue to blame government, but you who has been given opportunity to do some of these things, you are abusing it. And then you say, the government is not doing well, this is not doing well. But the agencies who are supposed to do this are not working. And then this overlap of duties in this country is becoming alarming. We don't even know what the police is meant to do. We don't know what the road safety is meant to do. We don't know. Everybody is overlapping. You see, the police stops you today, is asking you questions the army should ask you. Is asking you questions that the road safety should ask you. The road safety is asking you questions. So this overlap of duties. And Ubong, it's not even that there are so many checkpoints. The problem is that you can see one checkpoint for the next checkpoint. As I'm looking at you now, I'm seeing this checkpoint, the next checkpoint. The other checkpoint is seeing that these people have stopped you. Police. This is not as if, let's say, maybe it's road safety. Police and police. This particular police that stopped you, they've checked the vehicle as they want to check, collected their own understand. And then the next one will collect their own understand. And then before you, it's annoying. It's annoying. And I must call out the governors on this. Because when it comes to time of security, the governors will disappear on the grounds that security is for the federal government. But when they want to harass somebody, when they want to intimidate people, they will remember they can control security. Then I ask, what the hell is the use of the security votes? That huge amount that they collect, what do they do with it? This is time for the governors to wake up. And what Soludo is now doing recently is now showing you that the governors can actually wake up, but they have refused to. So I want to tell Nigerians, as much as you want to start calling out the federal government, know that the government closest to you is the state government. What we do in Nigeria is hypocritical criticism of government. We criticize the one we think is far that cannot touch us, while we are complacent with the ones that are close to us. I think
that's a good place to leave this conversation. I wish we had more time. I wish we could stretch this for another 20, 30 minutes, but then we can't. But thank you so much, Felix, for coming around. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
And in case you're just joining in, this will pretty much be the size of the package today on the Eastern Business Report. I've played host to Comrade Felix Idiagalu, who is a public affairs analyst and the former House of Assembly candidate Uti North. You're still watching the Afia Business Money Live from Enugu State, Nigeria. You may want to join in on the conversation and drop off a comment or two on our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel displayed right now on your screen at www.youtube.com/Afia Business. Remember to turn on notifications so you get to see each time we drop a new content on that channel. Coming up next will be Afia. My name is Ubong Kings. Stay tuned.